Winner takes all clash against Iran, really. The US need to win to go through. A good scenario for this young team. Great tournament experience. And USA were the big winners against England, even though it was a 0-0 draw. All right, then, gents, let's move on now to previewing that massive group finale for the USA. Let's have a look at what they need to do against Iran in Group B, how they should approach it, what the kind of tactics or personnel they should use. But the scenario is very clear, right, for the USA. Win, and they're in the last 16 against Iran. That's all it is. It's basically a knockout game. You get an extra knockout game for your money in this tournament. Lose or draw, and they're out. They know that. So Nick Mendola, coming to you. I mean, what kind of approach would you take to this game? Would you go all out and high press like they did against Wales and England? Can they do that for a third time with the same group of players? Was that maybe something Gregg Berhalter was thinking about, changing the lineup to try and have them fresh for Iran? Or do you think they can regenerate and recover and just pretty much play the same game plan that they did for the first 45 minutes against Wales and then for the majority of the game against England? Because it's working.
Yeah, I honestly think they're flowing now. And I think they should take until Iran shows them that they can't, then you take your game to them. And this is not like, this is going to sound a little passive aggressive, and believe me, it is. But this is not like a team where England versus the U.S., obviously, U.S. is the England's bogeyman. 3 World Cup games, they've never beaten the U.S. We know who the stronger team is. Just kidding. 1998, FIFA World Cup. The U.S. is coming off 1994 and having the World Cup, and we feel like we're starting to build into its own. I'm 16 years old, and what happens? The U.S. loses 2-1 to Iran in a game everyone expected them to win. This is something where you show how far you've come as a program by taking it to Iran, and I think anything else sends the wrong message to your team.
But Andy, I mean, looking at Iran, how well they played against Wales, I mean, they scored 2 late goals, but they should have had it wrapped up by then. They hit the post a couple of times, disallowed goal. Taremi and Azmoun up top going to cause the US a lot more problems than England did, and a lot more problems than Wales did as well. So this is an Iranian team, obviously, we know, on and off the pitch, are united as a team and group of players and are fighting for something a lot bigger than just football. So this is dangerous for the US right now. They're in a decent situation where they know win a game of football, we're in the last 16. So that's good motivation for the US. But this will not be easy against Iran, will it?
No, it won't be easy because they are, they have a very clear identity and style of play. They're going to be very difficult
as well compared to the US. A lot more experience. We saw that against Wales, the challenges that were being made, how aggressive they were. That's going to be a battle.
It's going to be something the U.S. hasn't seen at this tournament yet. And that in itself is going to be a challenge, how they respond to that, because they didn't see any of that from England on Friday. There was no blood and guts. There was no flying in tackles against them. It was rather easy for the U.S. to do what they did against England. And almost to the point that I do wonder to what degree Southgate said, we'd love a draw in this game. And that was really the only objective going into that game, because I think if you're England, nothing really good can come of that game against the U.S. You win, cool, you're supposed to. You lose, obviously it's an incredible disaster. And so you take the point, you put yourself in a position where any positive result will get you through. And so that's not exactly desperation. We will see desperation from Iran in this third game. And I want to see a little bit from the U.S. as well, because it is a must-win game. And so I think there will be a couple of changes to the lineup that will be much more attack-minded, which I think are, 1, necessary for the way the game is going to be played with Iran being so defensive, but 2, for the rotation of a couple of key players as well. I'd love to see Brendan Aronson it's the game that Brendan Aronson was listed as a midfielder for on the roster. And I think also Gio Reyna up top for Tim Weah. So there's a lot of options. Like, there's more options for Berhalter to affect the lineup in the game than has ever been the case for U.S. men's national team manager before.
Yeah, Nick, who would you start sort of up top? I guess that's the big question. You need to win a game. You need to score goals. Josh Sargent and Haji Wright just haven't really had many looks on goal so far in this tournament. It's all been about the attacking midfielders and creating chances and McKennie arriving late in the box. So what are you going to kind of change to just kind of shake that central attacking unit, at least, into a bit of life in this game against Iran?
Well, I think you saw today from Aronson going in before Reina that is what Berhalter prefers. I do think he's going to look back at what he's seen over these games, and unless he decides to go with Jesus Ferreira, I actually think you're going to see Tim Weah down the middle. I think he likes what he's seen from him. Assuming he's healthy, because we did see him go down with a little bit of an injury, but he did play through it. I think you'll see Reina, Weah, Pulisic atop the top, because I don't think he's changing any of the other 8 guys. The way he said it before the game here, that unless there's an injury, you'll see these guys. If he does pull someone out, maybe it's McKennie for Reina. But I think you'll see Musa. I think you'll see Adams, Zimmerman, Ream, Robinson for sure. I thought the fullbacks were the key to this game when it all comes down to it. But yeah, that's what I'd do up top.
Yeah, it's going to be. I mean, I would probably go with Haji Wright. I think that he deserves.
He was good.
Some of the hold-up play was really good, and just the play didn't really go through the center, did it? A lot for the US. It goes down the wide flanks a lot because Weah and Pulisic are in good form, and Dest and Robinson were 2 of the USA's best players from fullback as well. So if they can do that and then whip in some crosses for Haji Wright to attack, I've got a lot of faith that McKennie or Pulisic or whoever's kind of sweeping up, or Aronson or Reina, if they play, there'll be some scraps for them to feed off. And I think that's how, when you look at Iran against England and against Wales, where they gave up a lot of opportunities and goals against England, was crosses from those wide areas, and they couldn't quite cope with players coming in and around the penalty spot. So I'd look at something like that from the approach, but I really wouldn't change much from an energy perspective, from a personnel perspective. The tactics, the players are so well drilled, right, Andy? They know exactly what to expect. But from this Iranian team, where we mentioned them there, Taremi and Azmoun are they're good, aren't they? They're a good combination, a good mixture of the bigger, stronger guy. Azmoun is getting back towards full fitness, trickery, can drop his shoulder, put the Iranian Pulisic in many ways, the way he plays. So, it's going to be... That's going to be the biggest test that Tim Ream and Walker Zimmerman have faced as centre-back partners.
Which is incredible to say and to think about, because they just played England. And their first game was against a team that's got a lot of Premier League players in it as well. But it does seem like, of the 3 teams the U.S. have played, or will have played, I suppose, once we get past that third game, that England are very much in the mode of, well, we're one of the favorites for the tournament. We know it's a long tournament. We plan on being in this tournament for a long time. And so we are either not showing everything right away from the start, or we are trying to pace ourselves. Understandable from England. Wales, I think you would have wanted to see a little bit more ambition in that first game. The fact that you get Iran in the third game, I think, is what, aside from Wales, the must-win game being first, having Iran and getting a result against Wales, them being in contention to advance, was not in, I don't think, any of the permutations that any U.S. men's national team did, or U.S. men's national team fan did, going into the last game of this World Cup. And so now it's a whole different ball game, but it does feel like this team just they have the belief, they have the confidence. They have been out and done it twice now. And that's not something they could say a week ago before the World Cup started. And so they have gone out and done it. I don't know. It feels weird being so optimistic and hopeful and having these real expectations from this team that we're trying to make the case for Iran will be tough because of this, because of that. And I just keep coming back to, and I think the U.S. are just flat out better and should beat them comfortably.
They should, but there is something about this Iranian team, just the experience, the kind of battle hardness. That's going to be make it even tighter, I think. The fact that the US, not that they're up for the scrap, but it's just the lack of experience in this team, I think. And you only get that experience by being in these situations of top quality players. But it's going to be a really, really intriguing battle. And here at Pro Soccer Talk at NBCSports.com, the 3 lads you can see where previews, how to watch information, analysis, and all the news coming from the US camp ahead of that massive, massive must-win game. That's it. Win, and you're in the last 16. And for these US players, it's basically you're already in the knockout stages now. So this is going to be really exciting. And at PST, we'll have you covered between now and Tuesday with everything you need ahead of USA against Iran, final Group B game. My word, gents, doesn't get much bigger than this. And I think we all agree that the US, this team, is further ahead in their progression than we thought they would be at this stage of a tournament. So that's a lot of fun for us, and I'm sure a lot of fun for everyone watching, and just getting involved with this US team. And they're a lot of fun to watch, and they're a really easy team to root for.